everyone, and welcome to Holly's Cooking Show. Have you ever made the conscious decision to eat healthier or maybe lose a few pounds only to have all of your progress destroyed by the temptation of sweet desserts? What if I told you that you could enjoy sweet desserts like brownies without the guilt? Now I know this sounds too good to be true, but that's exactly what I'm going to show you how to do today. Today we're going to put a new twist on an old classic by making zucchini brownies. Now I know the idea of having a vegetable like zucchini in our dessert might be a little bit intimidating, but I promise you it is so close to the real deal you won't even notice a difference. The utensils we're going to need for today are a 9x13 baking pan, a large mixing bowl to mix in, a spoon or spatula to mix our ingredients together, our measuring cups and measuring spoons, and a cheese grater to grate our zucchini. Now our ingredients that we're going to need are half a cup of unsweetened applesauce, 2 mashed bananas, 1.5 cups of sugar or sugar substitute, 2 teaspoons of vanilla, a half a cup of unsweetened cocoa powder, 1.5 teaspoons of baking soda, a half a teaspoon of salt, 2 cups of finely grated zucchini, 2 cups of whole wheat flour, and a half a cup of walnut pieces. Now the first thing you're going to want to do is mix together our applesauce, our mashed bananas, and our sugar or sugar substitute. Now a little tip for the bananas. The best way to mash these is going to be to use really ripe bananas. They're going to be a lot easier to smush and it's going to mix together really well. So first we're going to add in those mashed bananas. Make sure you get as much of it into the bowl as you can. Next is that 1.5 cups of sugar substitute. Today we went with stevia in the raw because it's a little bit healthier of an alternative to regular sugar. And then we're going to want to add in our unsweetened applesauce. And you want to make sure you mix that together really well. You want it to be a nice smooth consistency without any chunks from the bananas or anything. Nobody wants chunky bananas. Now this is going to take a little bit of time, so just be patient. You can certainly use a mixer if you have one. I don't have one, so I'm just going to do it by hand, which is just as fine as well. Now once we have that together mixed nicely, we're going to add in 2 teaspoons of vanilla. Make sure you measure as close to the amount as you possibly can so you can get an accurate result. And then we're going to add in our half a cup of unsweetened cocoa powder. Now mix that together again until it's nice and smooth. You might get a few chunks with the cocoa powder as well, so make sure you're mixing that together really well. Use the spatula to kind of push down on the chunks and get rid of those. This does work a lot faster if you have a mixer, so feel free to use it. But again, it's just as well to use a spatula and mix it by hand. Now you're really going to see as you mix this together that it's starting to create a brownie batter consistency. It's that thick consistency, it's a dark chocolate. Now once you have that mixed together really well, you're going to add in 1.5 teaspoons of baking soda. Again, make sure you try and get as accurate as you can. You don't want to put too much of anything in it. You're going to also add in a half a teaspoon of salt. Now I use sea salt because it's a healthier alternative than regular iodized salt. And then you're going to mix in your 2 cups of finely grated zucchini. And again, just make sure you mix that together really nicely. And once you have that mixed together really well, you are going to add in your 2 cups of whole wheat flour and your half a cup of walnut pieces. This is really where it's going to take some time to mix it together because the batter is getting really thick. So make sure you're getting rid of all the bubbles. You don't want any pouches of just flour in there. Now this batter is actually going to create a similar consistency to a cake. So it's going to have a great taste like the brownie, but it's going to be a bit spongier like a cake than actual brownies. But it's still going to have that moist flavor like brownies have. I've found that this spatula works really well for mixing it as well, just because of the flat edges. You can scrape along the sides and make sure that you're getting it all mixed in really well. Now once you have all of this mixed together well and you don't see any more white from the flour in there, that's it. You're going to pour it into your pan. So let's grab our 9x13 baking pan that we've already oiled and floured. And you're just going to pour it right in here. Make sure you scrape the bowls and get all of it out that you can. You're going to want every last bit when you're making these brownies. Now once you get your bowl cleared, you're going to use your spatula to really smooth it out in the pan and make sure you have a nice even layer. Make sure you get it in all the corners so it's the same level throughout the entire pan. And once you do that, you're going to pop it in the oven for about 25 minutes or until when you push on the brownie, it springs back a little bit. Another great way for testing if the brownies are done is by sticking a Q-tip or a toothpick in the middle of it and seeing if any brown or butter comes out on it. Now I did bake some of these earlier. So as you can see, I used dark cocoa powder so the brownies are a little bit darker. When you push on them, they're going to spring back a little bit. So there you have it, guys, a low-calorie, guilt-free way of having your cake and eating it too.